ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। We were looking at the bhashya of the 10th vakya of the 4th brahmana of the first chapter. This vakya is one of the most important because it has the mahavakya aham brahmasmi. So this aham brahmasmi only is under discussion now. The Purva Pakshi is the Vrittikara who says Brahma aparam. So this is not param Brahma, aparam Brahma it is. So aparam Brahma means either it can be Prajapati or it can be a human being. Manushya Adhikarat. So the human being who wants to become Brahman is known as Brahma here. This is the argument which is going on now. Where Brahma va idam agre asit tad atmanam eva avet. So Brahman was there before. Here this idam agre before really means before knowing oneself. Brahman in the state of ignorance is there and then it knew itself. Tad atmanam eva avet. And it knew itself in what way? How did it know itself? Means aham brahmasmi iti. Okay, I am Brahman. Like that it knew itself. Brahman itself was there, ignorant of itself. Then it knew itself as aham brahmasmi, I am Brahman. And therefore what happened? Tasmat tat sarvam abhavat. Therefore it became everything. So this is what is under discussion here. This Brahman which was there in the beginning without knowing itself. What is this Brahman? The Purva Pakshi, the Vrittikara, they are saying it is a Manushya who wants to become Brahman. Okay. And then they are giving some arguments for that, which Bhashyakara refuted. Okay. So now we saw some arguments continuing what. So the last part of the argument was what? See, the Purva Pakshi said that that Brahman cannot have avidya. Brahmani avidya anupapattihi. So how can you say Brahman has avidya? Okay. Means Bhashyakara says with reference to Brahman only knowledge has been mandated, correct? If knowledge has been mandated with reference to Brahman, then the ignorance has to be with reference to Brahman only. It cannot be for something else. And if Brahman is already known very well, nobody is going to mandate that you have to know Brahman, correct? It will not make any sense. So that is the argument he made. Okay. But then the Purva Pakshi says, no. But Brahman cannot be the one who has created this avidya. Avidya kartri, kartri cheti. Okay. And also Brahman itself cannot be an ignorant person and all that they are saying. So Bhashyakara says, okay, let it be. Let Brahman need not be the one who created the avidya. It itself is not deluded, let us say. But he asked the question in reply that, but other than Brahman, is there any knower? Is there any conscious being other than Brahman? So he says, Naiva abrahma avidya karta chetanaha brantaha anyaha ishyate. So there is no other being other than Brahman which is conscious and which can become deluded or ignorant. Because other than Brahman there is no other knower. For that he is quoting the Shruti and all that. Therefore what? Brahman alone we have to say was the one who was in that ignorant state and then became knowledgeable by knowing oneself. Okay. So when this was said, the Bhasha, the Purva Pakshi says, no, if you say like that, then Shastra will become, the Shastra Upadesha will become useless. Then for that, Bhashyakara gave a cheeky reply saying that, I agree with you, because once you know, then you don't require any Shastra, correct? Once you know that you are Brahman, Shastra also, Veda becomes Aveda, like that. Vrihadaranyaka itself will say later on, we'll see that. So, Avagate astu eva anarthakyam, he says. But Puru Pakshi then comes back and says, even to know, this Shastra is not useful to know also, he says. Okay, this knowing itself is useless. This knowledge itself is useless. Whatever is being revealed by Shastra. For that, Bhashyakara replies saying, no, the knowledge removes the ignorance. Anavagama nivrittehe drishtatva. So it is seen that knowledge removes ignorance, and in this case, self-knowledge removes self-ignorance, and in the process, in fact, it makes you know yourself as the limitless being. So initially you thought you are a limited individual, subjected to a life of becoming, struggling all the time, so that you can become something which is acceptable to yourself. But that is endless, because the nature of one's problem is such that one is always not acceptable to oneself. So one's fundamental problem is one of self non-acceptance. That being the case, to become acceptable, I should not have any limitation in myself. So in my vision, in my self-judgment, if I am limited in any manner, that will not be acceptable to myself, and I'll keep on struggling then. That struggle is never going to come to an end, because limitlessness cannot be attained as the result of any action. It cannot be attained in space and time. So if it is really there, it has to be there already. That is the only possibility, correct? If you are the limitless, then you are already the limitless. But then the only question is, why do you not know that? If you do not know that, that is the reality again. You cannot ask why there. In fact, the fact is that you do not know yourself as the limitless, and you have to know yourself as limitless. That is the only possibility. If you are really limited, you cannot do anything about it. You cannot become the limitless. Okay. So what Bhashyakara is pointing out here is, if you think that you are limited and you do not know yourself correctly, then this knowledge removes that ignorance and makes you know yourself, who you are, and in the process, in fact, makes you know the limitless. Okay. Therefore, this knowledge you cannot say is useless. But he says this knowledge itself is not possible. Then nivrittehe api anupattehe, like that, anupattihi. So this removal of ignorance also is not possible. In Bhashyakara says you cannot say like that, because it is drishta virodha. It is seen that people, there are jnani, wise people, who also teach, in fact. Even Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita says, Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. So the tattvadarshi, jnani, they are there, and they will teach you. If you go to them with commitment and ask them, do them seva, and ask them with the right attitude for this knowledge, they will teach you. Okay. So it is there, this Guru Shishya Parampara is there, so you cannot just say that this Ajnana cannot be removed. Okay. So this Ekatva Vijnana itself is not possible, that you cannot say, because there are people who know that and they are teaching and there is a Guru Shishya Parampara. And even after seeing all these things, it is not possible if you say, then we cannot do much about it, correct? So it is only Drishta Virodha. Like that, Bhashyakara finishes this argument finally. He says Darshana itself is not possible and all that. Finally, again, Darshana Anupattihi means the same answer we have to give. Okay? You cannot go against whatever is the common experience of all the people. Then Purva Pakshi comes with a different argument now that we will see. So up to this point we saw last time. Now, Punyo vai punyena karmana bhavati. So this is 3 to 13 in Brihadaranyaka itself it is there. So in this section, in fact, Yajnavalkya is actually answering the questions of many different people. So here, there is a Artha Bhagaha, like that one person is there. Okay, he is the son of Rita Bhaga. And he questions about what happens to a human being when the human being is dying and all that. Okay. So there is a sequence is told that each and every organ merges with the Sukshma Sharira, and then finally what happens? That leaves that Sukshma Sharira leaves along with what? Along with, okay, sorry, that is this. Yeah, so even there they are discussing actually this graha, atigraha, like that there is a discussion goes on. Okay, what are the number of grahas? Is pointing out that finally what is there? He asks, even after death, what happens to that Purusha? Why that Purusha again comes back, like that there is a question is there. So for that then finally they go and discuss separately. In fact, initially they are discussing in the court and then they leave the court, separately they go and then they finally arrive at that karma. Okay, because of karma only this individual has to take another life, and he continues. Even though there are other causes, Ishvara also is a cause, Desha, Kala, time also some people say, but karma is the Vishesha Karana, and Punyo vai punyena karmana bhavati, like that. So, and also if you do the right thing, if you do a punya karma means you are doing the right thing in a situation, means you will have punya. Punya is accumulated in your account. If you do something wrong in a particular situation, then papa will accrue. So both this punya and papa, they have to be only exhausted by experiencing. They are avashyam bhavi, we say. So they will definitely fructify. So they have to fructify, and they will definitely fructify in the form of either a pleasant experience or unpleasant experience. That's how they can be exhausted. So like this, here there is one quotation. The other one is Tam Vidya Karmani Samanvara Bhete, also is something similar. Here also death is talked about and how all these organs are they merge with the Sukshma Sharira, and then when the Sukshma Sharira leaves, it leaves along with the whatever karma you have done. Correct? All the upasana and karma, it goes along with you, with the Sukshma Sharira, and then the Sukshma Sharira has to take another body and all that. And there again all this karma will be exhausted. So again what the Purva Pakshi is pointing out here is there is an individual Jiva. Okay, there is a Jivatma, And the Jivatma is being talked about by the Shastra, by Brihadaranyaka itself it is being talked about. There is Bhashikara is arguing against the Purva Mimamsaka, where Purva Mimamsaka has a very weird contention that the Shruti, Veda is a valid means of knowledge only when it is revealing something to be done. Okay. Amna yasya kriyarthatvat, like that the Purva Mimamsaka say. The Amnaya means here Veda. The Veda itself is only for revealing kriya, something to be done. And if it reveals something factual, then in that case Veda cannot be taken as a valid means of knowledge. Even that fact also has to be connected to some karma. That is their concept. Okay. But Bhashyakara points out even there, all your karma is for what purpose? The karma is for you to go to Swarga, correct? Then how do you know there is Swarga? No other means of knowledge can establish that there is a heaven or Swarga. Only Veda has to reveal it, correct? And that is a fact. Unless the fact that Swarga is there is established, all the karma you do is useless. Because, okay, some karma is for enjoying something here itself. But many other karma, Veda itself says, Swarga kamaha, yutishto mene yajeta. So the one who is desirous of Swarga, you have to do Jyotishtoma. Like this, there are Vakyas are there. So the fact that Swarga is there, it's a factual revelation, correct? That also has to be done by the Veda. But even more important is what? That you will survive death of this physical body. That also no other pramana can reveal. Understand that. Pratyaksha, Anumana, etc. cannot reveal that something survives the death of this physical body. Only Veda has to reveal that also. Okay. So Sharira Vyatireka Atma. That has to be revealed by only the Veda, a self, an individual self, which is different from this physical body. And also Sharirantara Sambandhi Atma. Not only that the self is you have only one chance, correct? You have one chance. If you follow my prophet, if you believe me, then you will be eternally in heaven. Otherwise, you will eternally burn in hell. So only one chance theologies are also there. So what does the Veda say? Veda is saying that there is also a Sharirantara Sambandhi Atma. So there is an individual self which is again getting associated with another body. Of course, what kind of body is that will depend on your punya or papa. Right? It can be either an animal body or another human body, or it can be a Deva Sharira also. The body of a divine being, let us say. Okay, or the one who lives in the Swarga, heavenly being. So it can be any body. It depends on your karma again. So that's what here also this Purva Pakshi is pointing out the same thing. It's not that something we do not accept. Advaitins very much accept this, that the Veda is revealing the whole Purva Khanda is about only the individual self. But it is for the one who is ignorant of one's reality. That's all we are saying. The Veda is going along with the ignorant individual self and giving that person, it's like a supermarket, correct? Different means and ends are all given by the Veda. So same thing is pointed out here by this Purva Pakshi. There is a Prashna Upanishad quotation also is giving here. Manta, Bodha, Karta, Vijnana, Atma, Purushaha. So here Purushaha, Puranat Purushaha, the one who fills this Karya Karana Sanghata, this body, mind, sense complex. That is the individual self, is the one who is the thinker, who is the knower, who is the doer. Like that, this Prashnopanishad also talks about an individual self. So all these Shrutis are actually talking about an individual self. So that's what the Purvapakshi is pointing out here. He says, Ityevamadi Shruti Smriti Nyayebhyaha. He is including Nyaya also here. So there is a Shruti, Smriti also are there. You can quote in number of Smriti. Here, essentially the three Shrutis are quoted. Then even if you go by logic, he says, or the Nayayikas, Nyaya Shastra, let us say, what all these things establish is that Parasmad Vilakshanaha Anyaha Samsari Avagamyate. So there is a Samsari, a person who lives the life of becoming. Samsari means Samyak Sarati. He becomes from one thing to another, keeps on going, keeps on becoming something or the other, correct? That's what we call life of a samsari, is really a life of a becoming person. So this limited individual self, who is a becoming person, all the time becoming something, is separate from Param Brahma, the limitless Brahman, okay, which also is revealed by the Shruti. So this individual self is different from Brahman. This is known from all these Shruti, Smriti, and even from Nyaya. And what Tad Vilakshanascha Paraha, and this Param Brahma is different from this individual self. This individual is different from the Param Brahma, and Param Brahma is different from this individual. How do we know? Because Param Brahma is indicated by all these sentences. What? Sa Esha Neti Neti. That Brahman, which is this Brahman under discussion, is not this, not this. And also the Param Brahma is indicated as Ashanayadi Atyeti. Param Brahma does not have any hunger, thirst, etc. It does not have to eat anything. But the individual self is not like that. Similarly, Param Brahma is revealed as what? Ya Atma, Apahata Papma, Vijaraha, Vimrityuhu. So this Atma, the one who is also Apahata Papma, means who does not have any Papa, who is not subjected to any Papa, in fact, really. And Vijaraha, who is not subjected to old age, who does not decay, correct, decline. Vimrityuhu, who does not have any death also. Undecaying, deathless. So like this Param Brahma is revealed differently, with different qualities in comparison to the individual self, the samsari. Again, etasya va aksharasya prashasane, like the Brihadaranyaka also is quoting again. So this Aksharam Brahma, in its rule, like that, this statement is there. So this Aksharam Brahma is overlording everything, lord of everything. Like this Aksharam Brahma is revealed as the one who is having totally different qualities in comparison to the limited individual, who is a samsari, who is a person who is all the time becoming something, struggling to become something. So like this, there are different Shrutis are there to show that Param Brahma is different from the samsari Atma. And not only that, there are other Shastras also who accept whatever I am saying. You are the guy who is actually the odd man out. Okay, I am not the odd man out. He is trying to point it out, I think. So he says, Kanada Akshapadadi Tarka Shastreshu cha Samsari Vilakshanaha. The Kanada, Akshapada, etc. All these people, rishis are there. And in their Tarka Shastra, they have written different Shastras, okay? Vaisheshika Sutras is supposed to have written by Kanada. So the Nyaya Vaisheshika Shastra is there. In that, Ishvara has been established through Nyaya itself, they claim, through logic itself or inference. You can infer Ishvara is their contention. But as I told you, Ishvara cannot be established only by inference. It's not possible. Okay. Inference alone is not enough, because with inference you cannot even establish that this is a creation. Then how can you say that there is a creator? Only when you establish this universe is a creation, you can even talk about a creator. Even if you say that, okay, intelligent design and all that, even nowadays nobody accepts that. Okay. But let us say you give a supporting argument that since everything is intelligently put together in this world, it is as per some design, therefore there has to be a designer. Even there is another problem will come. Is there only one creator or many? For this question also there is no answer. Just purely by inference you cannot establish that there is only one creator. So inference will not work. Shruti alone has to reveal that, understand that. Okay. Anyway, but here the Purva Pakshi is claiming all these rishis have established an Ishvara who is different from Samsari, the individual, through Upapatti itself. Upapatti means here through logic. Upapattitaha sadhyate. So they have established an Ishvara who is different from the individual. And also one more point is what? Samsara dukkha apanenarthitva pravritti darshana sputam anyatvam ishvarat samsarinaha avagamyate. So another point is what? This samsari, okay, is the one who is struggling to remove the samsara dukkha. Okay, the effort, the struggle to remove one's sorrow. This life of becoming itself is a sorrow. All the time I am struggling and I want to get rid of that. So this pravritti, this whatever this effort I put in, correct, to remove this sorrow of life of becoming is there only for the samsari. From this itself we know that this samsari is different from Ishvara. Ishvara samsarinaha sputam anyatvam. Clearly it is seen that Ishvara is different from Ishvara is aptakama. Ishvara does not have any desire. Okay. Even in Tamil, Thiruvalluvar says, Thiruvalluvar actually uses all the Vedic words beautifully in Tamil. So he has a word, Vendudal Vendamai Ilanadi Serdar Kallal Yandumi Idumbai Ila, like that. There is a Thirukural is there in the first 10, in the first Adhikara itself, it is there. So he says, Ishvara is the one for whom there is no likes or dislikes or wanting. He doesn't want anything, nor does he not want anything. Vendudal Vendamai. I want this, I do not want this. This is not there for Ishvara, because Ishvara is complete in oneself, correct? Does not lack anything. Therefore, the samsari is a lacking person, wanting person. So samsari, the individual, is different from Ishvara. Also, Ishvara is presented differently. Again, he is quoting some shrutis. Avaki, anadaraha. Okay. So, avaki means the one who does not speak, or the speech, organ of speech itself is not there, it seems, in Param Brahma. Okay. How does this avaki word come? Bhashyakara gives an interesting derivation, couple of derivations. Anyway, those grammar points I will leave. I will not go into that. Anadaraha means anadaraha, again the one who does not have any need to do anything. He is already fulfilled, happy being himself. So he does not have any enthusiasm to this Param Brahman. He did not do anything. He did not start anything. Like that. This Param Brahma is presented as the one who does not have to achieve anything. Even Krishna also says the same thing in Bhagavad Gita. Name parthasti kartavyam trishulokeshu kinchana nana vaptama vaptavyam vartayeva cha karmani. But there Bhagavan in the end says vartayeva cha karmani. See, he says Name partha. Hey partha. Partha means prithaha. Pritha is the another name of Draupadi. Sorry, another name of Kunti. Pritha. Prithayaha apatyam iti parthaha. Okay, the son of Pritha is Partha. That way, if you see, all Pandavas are Partha only. But here, since Bhagavan is talking to Arjuna, Arjuna also is called Partha. And Partha Sarathi also, Krishna himself is called as the charioteer of Arjuna. So that's why he got the name Partha Sarathi. And why I am saying Partha Sarathi? Because Partha Sarathi is very dear to me. I grew up near the Partha Sarathi temple in Chennai. There is a very old temple in Chennai. Okay, Partha Sarathi, and he is very famous. I like Partha Sarathi because he is one of the only Devata with mustache. Okay, he is. If you go there, you can see he is the god with misai. So I always like Partha Sarathi for that. Anyway, so Bhagavan here says, "Hey Partha, name kartavyam asti, kartavyam me nasti." For me, there is nothing to be done. To be done like that, there is nothing. Name partha asti kartavyam. Okay, and what? Trishu lokeshu kinchana means in all the three lokas. Don't think that I don't have to do anything only here. But in all the three lokas, I don't have anything to be done. I don't have to do anything. I am complete already. I am totally satisfied with who I am. Totally satisfied with myself. So I don't have to do anything in all the three lokas. Okay. And I don't nana vaptam avaptavyam. And I don't have to gain anything, or I don't have to not gain anything. Those who are not there for me also. I don't have to get rid of anything, nor I have to gain anything. There is nothing like that. So I don't have to be engaged in any action, but still I keep doing, he says. Vartayevacha karmani. For that he gives reasons and all that. Okay. Because he says, Yadyadacharati Shretaha Tattadeva Itaro Janaha, like that. Whatever is being done by Shreta Purushaha, by those who are Shreta here means leaders, we can say, okay, or the ones whom people look up to. Such people, whatever they do, others follow. So for their purpose, I can keep doing. Doing does not mean anything to me. That's what he says. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to gain anything, nor I have to lose anything, get rid of anything. Still I keep doing. Like this, Ishvara need not do anything. That's what is being pointed out by these two. One is a Shruti, another is a Smriti, Bhagavad Gita. But the Jiva is desperate, struggling. Okay. Therefore, Jiva is different from Ishvara. Also, further what? Saha Anveshtavyaha, Saha Vijijñasitavyaha. So, this Param Brahma has to be seen, has to be known. Like this Chandogya also is there. Because in Chandogya, each chapter, Narada goes to Sanat Kumara and gives a big list. He knows so many things. But still he says that Aham Shochami, I am in sorrow. All this knowledge is not useful. And then he says, I have heard that Atmavit Tarati Shokam, the one who knows himself crosses over all sorrow. So, hey Bhagavan, teach me. Like that, Narada is approaching Sanat Kumara. Okay, and Sanat Kumara teaches Narada also. So in that, it is said that this, there it is called Bhuma Vidya. So Brahman is called Bhuma. So the Bhuma has to be seen, has to be known like that. It is there. There is a mandate by the Shruti. And again, Tam Viditva na Lipyate, having known this Brahman, you are not tainted, touched by anything, by Papa, Punya, everything. Brahma Vidapnoti Param, Taittiriya Upanishad. The one who knows Brahman gains the ultimate. Okay, let us say Param here means or supreme and all that people translate. It's okay. Then Ekadha Eva Anudrashtavyam Etat. This Brahman has to be seen as only one in one way. Okay. Yova Etat Aksharam Gargi Aviditva, the other way around. Here Yajnavalkya is telling Gargi, the one who lives without knowing this Brahman, okay, this Aksharam Brahma. In fact, he says he is a Kripanaha. He is like a Kanjus, okay. He is a miser. In fact, he has lost the limitless, in fact. Again, Tameva Dhiraha Vijnaya. So the discriminating person, having known that Brahman, Pranavaha Dhanuhu Sharohi Atma Brahma Tallakshya Muchyate Mundaka Upanishad. So Om is the bow, and your mind, here Atma is mind, is the arrow, and with Om as the bow, you release your mind towards what? Brahman. Brahman is the target. So your mind has to focus on this Brahman. Like this Mundaka Upanishad beautifully gives this Pranava Upasana. So Ityadi Karma Kartri Nirdeshacha. So again, all these Shrutis, what they are saying is the Samsari Atma, who is the Karta, has to attain this Brahman who is the Karma. Karma here means object of action. Okay. Grammatical karma means second case typically, and that is the object of action. Karta is first case in Sanskritam. Even in other Indian languages it is the same, correct? So karma kartri nirdeshacha, Brahman is the karma here, and the individual is the karta, and individual has to attain this Brahman. And further what? Mumukshoscha gati marga vishesha deshopadesha. Also in Chandogya, there is a story is there. Okay, that one person goes to the forest, he is blindfolded, he is also tied, and he doesn't know where, which direction, etc., which side, and he keeps shouting, and then the one person comes, Dayalu, kind person, frees him from all his bondage, and then shows him the way back to his country, whatever. Like this, there the importance of Acharya is pointed out. Acharyavan Purusho Veda and all comes in that portion. So there is for the Mumukshu, a particular path is prescribed. Okay. So Gati Marga, there is a Marga is, and especially some to take a particular direction. Okay. Vishesha Desha Upadesha. Now all these things will be not tenable if there is no Bheda. That is what this guy is coming to. Now he says, see, I have said all these things. I have quoted Shruti to show that the qualities of individual are different from the qualities of the Param Brahma. Therefore, the individual samsari is different from Param Brahma. And again, individual is shown as the person who is striving to attain Brahman. So Brahman is the one which is attained, and the individual is the one who is the attainer. And to attain also, many instructions are given, correct? A particular path is given. You have to do all this sadhana like that. There is a marga is given. So all these things, if there is no bheda between the individual and the Param Brahma, how can all these things be possible? So asati bhede kasya kutaha gatihi syat. So for whom and from where you have to go or attain something, correct? There is no question of attaining anything if there is no bheda, correct? So here essentially he is pointing out the accomplishing the unaccomplished is the point these people are making again. So there has to be a difference. Brahman is not already accomplished, and that unaccomplished Brahman, to accomplish this only, the Veda also is giving you the path. Therefore, Brahman is different from the individual. So further he says, Tad abhavecha dakshina uttara marga vishesha anupapattihi. So if there is no difference between Brahman and the individual, then what about the talk about all this dakshina uttara marga and all? Different types of margas are talked about. Okay, all these things will not be tenable. And gantavya desha anupapattis cheti, and to reach a particular place also, that also will be. So he is literally taking the analogy there, that story. Okay, so there will not be any question of going in a particular direction or also reaching a particular place. All these things cannot be given as upadesha if there is no difference between the individual and Param Brahma, which is the one which has to be reached. Further what? Bhinnasya tu parasmat atmanaha sarvam etad anupapannam. Sarvam etad upapannam karma jnana sadhana upadeshacha. Okay. Again, bhinnasya tu parasmat atmanaha sarvam etad upapannam. So he finally makes his point. What is that? Parasmat atmanaha bhinnasya. So the one who is different from Param Brahma, this individual self, for that only all these things are tenable. Sarvam etad upapanna means all these things are tenable only for bhinnasya, the one who is different. This individual self who is different from what? This Param Brahma. And further he is giving one more reason also. He says karma jnana sadhana upadeshacha. So karma and jnana are given as the sadhana for this individual. So that sadhana upadesha is given by Shruti, Smriti, all these different texts, and it is only tenable if this bhinna, this difference is there. So he says bhinnas chet brahmanaha samsari syat yuktaha tam prati abhyudaya nishreyasa sadhanayoho karma jnanayoho upadeshaha. So what he says is karma and jnana. Jnana here we can take it as upasana. Okay. So this upadesha of doing different rituals, karma and jnana of or jnana, even if you take it as knowledge, also it is fine. This karma and jnana upadesha is that it makes sense. And again, karma and jnana as a means to attain. Attain what? Abhyudaya, prosperity here. And nishreyas, moksha, let us say. Nishreyas is the moksha. So, to attain prosperity and also moksha, karma and jnana are given as sadhana. And this is only tenable if this samsari is different from Brahman. Otherwise, this is not possible. This upadesha also will become useless. Why? Because Ishvara is apta kama. Ishvara does not have to do anything, correct? Ishvara already has attained everything. Ishvara is everything, in fact. So, na Ishvarasya apta kamatvat. So, all this upadesha cannot be given to Ishvara. You cannot tell Ishvara that you have to do karma, you have to do upasana, you have to know yourself. These things are meaningless for Ishvara because Ishvara has already attained whatever is to be attained. Therefore, what? Tasmat yuktam brahmeti brahmabhavi purushaha uchyate iti. So finally he says, therefore, big therefore, all these arguments he has given, that brahmabhavi purushaha brahma iti uchyate. The one who wants to become Brahman, that person is being called as Brahma. That's what we are saying. This is our considered stance. Like this, he has given all these arguments. Okay, then Bhashyakara starts. Iti che, if you argue like this, no, what you are saying is not correct. Why? Bhashyakara gives a very simple answer. He says, Brahma Upadesha Anarthakya Prasanga. This Brahma Upadesha itself will become useless. Why? Because samsari chet brahma bhavi abrahma sanna viditva atmanam eva aham brahmasmi iti sarvam abhavat. So Shruti is very clear, correct? What is the Shruti saying? Brahmava idam agre asit. Tad atmanam eva ave, it knew only itself, correct? As aham brahmasmi. And then it became everything. Tasmat tat sarvam abhavat. So if you say, so Bhashyakara is pointing out, if you say that the one who is not Brahman and who wants to become Brahman, okay, Abrahma San, being the one who is not Brahman, and being a samsari and one who wants to become Brahman, Brahma Bhavi also being, and how does he become Brahman, or how does he become everything? Viditva Atmanam Eva, knowing oneself. So he is knowing only himself, correct? Atmanam Eva Avet. In the form of Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. And then he becomes everything. Therefore, what Bhashyakara says, Tasya samsari atma vijnanadeva sarvatma bhavasya phalasya siddhatvat parabrahma upadeshasya dhruvam anarthakyam praptam. So if you say that Brahma va idam agre asit, that Brahma is samsari, then it will become that knowing the samsari atma only, that person became everything. Knowing that samsari atma, he became everything. And he has attained that phala. Therefore, what is the point in talking about Param Brahma there? Because he knows only himself, correct? Atmanam eva avet. Shruti is very clear. Knowing himself as Brahman, he became everything. That means he knew the samsari atma only and became everything. That phalam also he has got. Therefore, Brahma Upadesha will definitely, okay, become useless. Dhruvam anarthakyam praptam. Also, further he says, Tad vijnanasya kvachit purushartha sadhane aviniyogat samsarinaha eva aham brahmasmi iti brahmatva sampadanaartham upadeshaha iti chet. Okay, Bhashyakara has said this. Okay. Now, Purvapakshi comes and gives some other answer. He says, no, you cannot say that he knew only the samsari atma and became everything. Okay. So, we have to say that Aham Brahmasmi iti is there, correct? Therefore, means, see, in the Upanishads, it is often talked about visualizing yourself as something else, or you can visualize one thing as another based on some shared characteristics. That is called Sampad Upasana. So, Shalagrame Vishnu Dhyayami, you can say. Okay, so I am visualizing Vishnu in Shalagrama. Shalagrama is actually some kind of a fossil. Okay, it is a fossilized rock. But if you open it, inside you will see it is as though there is Shankha and Chakra is there, correct? So based on that similarity, okay, you can do Upasana of Vishnu there. So here also, Aham Brahmasmi, this samsari knows himself as Brahman, but he is not really Brahman. Understand? He is knowing himself as Brahman, because then only he can attain something. By knowing himself, by visualizing himself as Brahman, then he became everything. There is a Purushartha sadhana is there. Okay. So this, whatever Vijnana which is talked about, is actually a Sampad Upasana here. That based on similarities, this Brahman also is everything. Then I visualize myself as Brahman. Then I will also become everything. Like that, Purvapakshi is arguing that this is Sampad Upasana. So Brahmatva Sampadanartham, Sampadanarthaha Upadeshaha, like this he is saying. So you cannot say that he knew it, the samsari himself knew his self and became everything. No, we are not saying that. Samsari is visualizing himself as Brahman. Okay. Therefore, so you cannot say that this Vijnana will not have any phala. Okay. It has been actually prescribed only for a certain phala, and that can be achieved by visualizing oneself as Brahman. That is the argument now. Okay. So if you say like that, now what? Iti chet, Bhashyakara is giving another answer. What is that? He says, Anirjñatehi Brahma Swarupe Kim Sampadayet. So now Bhashyakara is asking a question. Only if you know two things and their similarities, you can actually do Sampad Upasana based on the similarity. Correct? But Brahman, if you do not know Brahman, Anirjñatehi Brahma Swarupe, if you don't know Brahman Swarupa, how will you do this Sampad Upasana? How are you going to do this Upasana? Aham Brahmasmi iti. Without knowing the meaning of Brahman, what it is, what is the Swarupa of Brahman, just repeating Aham Brahmasmi is not good enough, correct? You have to visualize yourself as Brahman. So, Nirjñata Lakshanehi Brahmani Shakya Sampad Kartum. Okay. So, what he is saying is, if Brahman is not known, the characteristics of Brahman, Nirjñata Lakshane Brahmani Sampad Kartum na Shakya, he says. This Sampad Upasana cannot be done if you do not know the characteristics of Brahman. Why Shankara is pointing this out is, Brahman cannot be known anywhere else. Only Shruti. So initially he is pointing out that unless you understand how Shruti has revealed Brahman, what is the nature of Brahman as revealed by Shruti, you cannot do this Sampad Upasana. That is what he is initially is actually establishing, Shankara. So he says, without knowing the characteristics and the nature of Brahman, you cannot do this Sampad Upasana. Fine. Now he is pointing out how Shruti is revealing the nature of Brahman. So how does Shruti reveal? Shruti is saying, Ayam Atma Brahma. This Atma is Brahman. This is another Mahavakya. Yet Sakshat Aparokshat Brahma. So this Brahman is the one which is directly experienced. Okay, we have to say. Aparoksham means it is not indirectly known. In fact, the self is the only thing which is known even without a means of knowledge. Correct? Self is self-revealing. It is aparoksham always. So it is this Brahman alone. Sakshat aparoksham it should be actually, but Chandasa Prayoga is Sakshat aparokshat is there. Then ya Atma, Apahata Papma and all that. Or ya Atma, there is again Brihadaranyaka only, all this Brahman is actually talked about as Atma. Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi. This is the Tattvamasi, Chandogya Upanishad, 6th chapter. So this Atma is this Sad Brahma, because Sadvastu was revealed in that Sadeva Somya Idam Agre Asit Ekameva Advitiyam, and that Satyam, that Sadeva Satyam, like that Sadvastu alone is Satyam, also was revealed. It is the only thing which is Satyam, which is always there. Everything else is Mithya, because the Karana is Satyam, Karya is Mithya. So typically, what is the methodology of teaching in Upanishads, in different Upanishads also, if you see, Brahman is revealed first as the limitless and also as the cause of this entire universe. And then, since Brahman is the cause, it alone is Satyam, it alone is real. All these other things are all Mithya, they are only names and forms, they are only appearances. So Brahman alone counts. It is Ekameva Advitiyam. And that alone is Satyam. And that Brahman is not separate from yourself. Because it is Jnanam also. Correct? It is the only conscious being. And you are also a conscious being. I, that very I is a conscious entity. Correct? And so Brahman is not separate from that I. So like this, explicitly also it is said. In fact, here different acharyas using their Sanskrit knowledge also interpret these things differently. Okay. So Sa Atma Tattvamasi is there, correct? So one acharya takes that Atma Tattvamasi as Atma Atattvamasi, because in Sandhi you can separate it like that. But then in the context it makes no sense. Then another acharya says Atma Tasya Tvamasi. Tattvam he is taking as a samasa pada, as a compound, and says Tasya Tvamasi, you are of him, of that, not you are that, you are of that. One acharya says you are not that. I don't know why even Shruti has to say that, because even before you learn anything, you go to the road and ask anybody, are you Brahman, are you Ishvara, are you God? Everybody will say I am not. So the Shruti need not come and reveal that again, correct? Anyway, and also it doesn't go along with how the Shruti starts, how it ends, etc. and what is the phala. Anyway, so but the point here, what Bhashyakara is making is, Shruti is revealing Brahman as Atma. It is Samanadikaranyam. It is in apposition everywhere. Atma is Brahman. Like that it is revealing. Correct? That's what he is showing. I am Atma, Brahman. This Atma is Brahman. And this Brahman itself is the closest and most directly experienced self. And it is this self is nothing but that Brahman. And Brahmavid apnoti param means param also is really Brahman only. Brahmavid apnoti Brahma, this really means. The one who knows Brahma becomes the limitless, becomes Brahman. So iti prakritya. In fact, in Taittiriya 2nd chapter, it starts like this. Brahmavida apnoti param tadesha bhyukta. And then tasmad vaye tasmad atmana akasha sambhutaha akashad vayu, like that it goes. Iti prakritya. Again, tasmad va etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha and all is there. Iti sahasrashaha api anyat prayojanam brahma upadeshasya gamyate. Sorry. Iti sahasrashaha brahmatma shabdayoh samanadikaranya ekartatvam eva iti avagamyate. So from all these things, what we see, it starts with Brahma vidapnoti param, and immediately he says tasmad va etasmad atmanaha. From this self the akasha came. It starts with Brahman, but simply switches over to Atma and says from the Atma space came. From space came Vayu, like that. So from all these things, different quotations, in fact thousands of quotations like this are there in the Upanishads. Brahma Atma Shabdayoho Samanadikaranya. Samanadikaranya means they point to the same locus, samana adhikarana, samana adhikaranyam. So the words Brahman and Atma, Brahman and self are pointing to the same thing, only one thing, one object, one locus. They are not pointing to two different things. So there is no question of Sampad Upasana. That is the point now Bhashyakara is trying to make. So there is Samanadhikaranyam. They are appositionally placed. Brahman is Atma, like that. Therefore, what Ekartatvam eva iti avagamyate. So Brahman and Atma mean the same thing. There is no difference. There are no two things. And now he explains. Anyasya vai anyatra sampat kriyate. Sampat upasana is done on one thing. Okay, by visualizing another thing on that, based on some shared characteristics, of course. So, Sampat Upasana means there is one thing, it shares some characteristics with some other thing, so that other thing is visualized in this thing, and then you do Upasana. But if both the things are only one, then where can you have this Sampat Upasana? You cannot have any Sampat Upasana there. Na ekatve, where there is only one thing, you cannot have Sampat Upasana. Okay, so Bhashyakara has now demolished this theory that it is Sampad Upasana, Aham Brahmasmi, it is Sampad Upasana also is not possible, it's not an Upasana. Because Upanishad is only revealing this Atma and Brahman as one only. Always there is Samanadhikaranya. Further what? Idam sarvam yad ayam atma iti cha prakritasya eva drashtavyasya atmanaha ekatvam darshayati. So in this chapter 1.4, this Atma is talked about, and later in 2.4.6 in the same Upanishad, what is it going to say? It is going to say idam sarvam yad ayam atma. So all that is here is this Atma only. Same thing is being talked about here also. So it's not just talked about once. It starts like this and it will also end like this. Correct? So there is a consistent teaching of the same thing is there. So whatever is Prakrita here, Prakrita means under discussion. The same thing is shown later on also as everything. That same Atma is being shown as everything later also. Darshayati ekatvam. So the ekatvam of Atma, the oneness of this self, is shown later also. Therefore, what? Tasmatna Atmanaha Brahmatva Sampad Upapattihi. Therefore, in this Atma, you cannot do Sampad Upasana of Brahman. That is not tenable, that is not possible. Further what? Nacha api anyat prayojanam Brahma Upadeshasya gamyate. Another thing is that if you do Sampad Upasana, some other result you have to get, correct? You will be getting some prayojana for that. Now here, in this case, Aham Brahmasmi iti Jnanam, what is the prayojana? What is the phala? What is the result? So there is no other result other than what? Becoming Brahman itself. So Brahma Veda, Brahma iva bhavati, abhayam hi janakaha praptosi, abhayam hi vai Brahma bhavati, like this. Whatever you gain is Brahman alone. Okay? So by knowing this Brahman, you become this Brahman alone. That is the phalam. There is no other phala. Normally in Sampad Upasana, you visualize one thing as another, and then you have some phala for that, some other prayojana. Here even that is not there. Like this, the Sampad Upasana is negated here. Then other arguments will come. We'll see that next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Thank you, Guru.